got NDS's graphic design guy or animator. Maybe he could do a video for us.
Nice.
You know, we're live, dog.
We are here. Before we start, I just want to say this has been second time being late in a row, and it's not my fault, all his fault. So I'm having a moment.
I apologize.
Yeah, my pride is flaring.
And, also
commercial again, commercial right within.
YouTube sucks. Seconds. YouTube's
what
the worst,
heck, dude.
Yeah, YouTube's the worst, bro.
I want to watch it so we can make like 3 cents. Maybe not
add
even.
Add it to the piggy bank. You know. Hey, tonight is gonna get.
We're going hard.
Spicy.
Oh man, we're going to jail, Ben. We're going to jail. I told my mom that, and she's like, "Dennis, please don't. Don't talk about that anymore." That's what she said.
No, your mom was that scared.
Oh yeah, I'm like, and I kind of didn't get into it, but I was just like, well, kept pushing a little bit. And she's like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. What if something happens?
Bro, no way.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And you weren't like, Mom, how does that make you feel that we have to be this terrified of these mini hat people?
Doesn't want to think about that. She just doesn't want to think about the possibility of what I'm telling them is right.
But there's a possibility you're going to go to jail. So
yeah, if I keep talking about it, so don't talk about it. But they don't want to discuss it. So they don't want to discuss it, and they don't want me to discuss it.
Unbelievable, bro. That is cognitive dissonance.
Oh, like for sure.
The definition. Yeah. You can't accept this reality, and so you have to at this, they're scared to talk about it at all.
Well, no. It's not that they can't accept this. Well, yeah, you're right. They can't accept this reality, nope. but they think that they're. I don't know. Maybe they're living in a different reality. They're a different reality. I don't know, man.
This is you know how there's different what do they call it? Timelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Parents are in the freaking mini hat timeline.
Dude, it's. I can't even talk to them about it now. We can't even if it's on the news. It's it's so sensitive.
Yeah.
And it didn't even get hot and heated ever. It was just the idea of this was so far-fetched for them, and they just can't fathom it.
Yeah.
And so it's gotta be wrong.
You should have seen my last, I want to say maybe 3-4 months ago. You should have seen our trip to Hawaii with my parents. This is all we talked about for a week.
And they were into it?
They were into arguing with me. My mom was into arguing with me and yelling at me, but it was funny because every once in a while my dad would be like, yeah, it's true, but then later, like during the conversation, he'd be like, your mommy's right, so he kept going back and forth, but my mom's just 100% on board with mini hats. But I downloaded Daryl Cooper's Fear and Loathing in the New Jerusalem. I downloaded all 30 hours, 6 episodes, or however many it is, on her phone so she could listen to it on her trip back home to Romania.
Would she do it, you think?
Oh, she already did.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
she's definitely, she's not, I don't want to say she's not closed-minded, but she is open to learning all the time and maybe changing opinions depending on where things go. I would say she's pretty reasonable. So that's good. That's a blessing. But after Dennis, do the intro.
Oh yeah. Hey, welcome guys. Welcome to Dennis. We just keep going. We don't stop. Welcome everybody hanging on a Thursday night. So excited to be here. And remember to subscribe, chat, comment, do all the good stuff. Let's hear it. Get wild in the chat. Tell us if we're off. Tell us if you agree. Tell us why you disagree. We want to hear it. We want to learn together. We want to grow together. We want to have these discussions because we think that they're needed. If you're here and you're captivated by this and you're watching this, it's because you also agree that these discussions are needed.
Yeah.
And Ben always says it. He always says that Christians should own these topics. Hang on, Lynette just says you're off. Definitely off. Oh, Lynette's saying based on your conversation today with her, probably that's why.
Hey, I don't know, Lynette, can you clarify? Is there something wrong with our technology, or am I just off theologically? Because I'm kind of
I'm guessing theologically. Yeah.
Well, let's see what she's. Oh, she's smiling. Dang it!
Nice.
Because we've got a lot going on.
Before we get into it, though, remember, guys, just please like this video so it can get up there, and because we do get banned a lot because of the topics that we talk about. So we need your help. And if you agree with us that people should be talking about this, and it should be in the mix of the Christian circles, especially, share this with a friend who's weird like you, and like us.
Have you?
But thank you for being here.
Have you seen those videos on like Instagram and stuff where they sneak a cell phone into a prison, and it's like the inmates on FaceTime, and they're like recording what they're doing in prison and stuff? And like,
no, I didn't even know this existed.
You've never seen people that snuck in phones in their butts in prison and they're FaceTiming on
Dude,
Instagram
how do you
and stuff?
sneak in a phone in your? Like,
I mean,
what is
like
happening?
this.
Like that's
like you just do it. Hey, when we go to prison,
like a smartphone. It's got to be a smartphone if you're going to be on social media.
I'm hoping it's a flip phone, but
it can't be.
I don't know. They've got some like razors and stuff, like, and some Motorola's that I think still flip and have cameras and access to internet. Hey, when we go to prison, we're totally sneaking in phones to keep talking about this.
Ass, bro.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, bro. I'll take one for the team. We're going to keep talking about this. We're not giving up, Dennis. Doesn't matter what prison they put us in. But hey,
even if it's just you and me talking to each other.
two subs.
So we started, Ben. It's okay. We can end like it's fine.
We start like we end like we started. Hey, you know the saying, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is never mind.
you had to go there, didn't you?
No. I'm not going to say it. Hey, you guys get it. You use your imagination. Hey, okay. So first off, we are not your teachers. Don't listen to us. Secondly, we are friends having a discussion about a topic that we find interesting with each other and with other friends who are joining us for this conversation. This isn't about just like, oh my God, this is all these guys talk about, or oh my God, these guys hate these tiny hat people. Like, that's not what this is. We're trying to figure these things out together. And I live in America, so I'm allowed to have any discussion I freaking want for now, Yeah. And so that's why we're going to have this discussion. The topic of tonight's discussion is, who is the synagogue of Satan that is referred to twice in Revelation? Okay. Let's read it. Revelation 2, verse 9. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and for 10 days, blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay. So what stands out to you from this passage, which describes this synagogue of Satan? What stands out?
Those who say they are Jews and are not.
So first off, they claim to be Jews, but according to Jesus, this is Jesus speaking through Paul, they are not. But instead, they are a synagogue of Satan, right? And he says, I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say. So they are also, what is it called? Persecuting this church, right? So that's three things there. This is to the church of Smyrna. So these people are claiming to be Jews. They're not. They're persecuting the church in Smyrna, and Jesus calls them a synagogue of Satan. Then in Revelation 3:8, this is to the church of Philadelphia. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Behold, I will make them come and bow down before your feet, and they will learn that I have loved you. Other translations, this bow down at your feet, or in the original Greek, I guess, says worship. Okay. So same thing here. They claim to be Jews, but are not. Jesus refers to them as a synagogue of Satan. And here he says that these ones in particular will come down and worship at their feet, at the church's feet of Philadelphia. You know,
where are you reading from in that one?
That one was Revelation 3, verse 8 and 9.
Okay.
So in two of these churches that John is writing to, Jesus sees fit to call a group of people fake Jews and a synagogue of Satan. Not very nice. You know, the notion of, and dude, 2 days ago or yesterday, I can't remember, I was on Twitter just blowing it up, you know, because I'm like, dude, I got to be on Twitter. Now I got to like talk to people and be active on here because we need to kind of get a presence on there too, right? So I'm just like responding to people. I'm quoting passages and stuff. All I would do is quote Bible passages in like other people's conversations, which are relevant to their discussion. Stuff like this, or stuff like John 8:44, which we'll read next. I can't tell you how many Christians, their response to me is, oh, you're an anti-Semite, you hate Jews, you don't believe the Bible, and I think one guy called me a Nazi. So it's interesting that if I quote these Bible passages in conversations about like Israel or the Jews or dispensationalism, stuff like that, right? If I just quote these, I'm anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird to me, because that would mean that Jesus is anti-Semitic, because I'm literally just copying and pasting like his words, right? I wouldn't paste these verses and then be like, haha, see?
Yeah, they're not your words, man. You're reading.
They're not my words. Right? Or let's read now John 8. John 8:39. This is Jesus talking to the Pharisees. John 8:39. And I don't know if these are supposed to be connected, like I'm not drawing a connection to them, but again, it's a place where Jesus himself again is talking to a group of people, these happen to be Pharisees, and says something very similar, okay, to the notion of, hey, you're a synagogue of Satan. So John 8:39, they answered him, this is the Pharisees, Abraham is our father. Abraham is our father. Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I have heard from God. This is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works your father did. They said, you are doing the works your father did, they said to him. We were not born of sexual immorality. We have our father, even God. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I am from God, and I am here. I came not on my own accord, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. Okay. So here again, I read this because it's kind of similar to the notion of Jesus calling somebody a synagogue of Satan, or a group of people a synagogue of Satan. I read this because here Jesus also calls another group of people sons of Satan, right? You are of your father, the devil. Hence, you are children of the devil. It's children of Satan. So do you think that there's a connection here? And you guys chime in the comments and stuff. We're hanging out. We're just talking. We're trying to dissect this stuff together. Do you guys think that it's fair to connect John 8, where Jesus calls the Pharisees sons of the devil or children of the devil, to synagogue of Satan in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3? Because to me, like in my mind, those two passages are related. So when we ask the question, like, who is the synagogue of Satan that Jesus is referring to in Revelation? Can it be the other people that he just called children of Satan, who also run the synagogues? You know what I'm saying? That's what the Pharisees did. The Pharisees ran the freaking synagogues in that day. So to me, when somebody asked us today, right, a friend of ours asked us today, hey, who do you think the synagogue of Satan is that he's referring to? To me, I don't think it could be more clear that it's actually the Pharisees who he chastised while he was alive. You know, check it out, Nicholas Daigle on Facebook. What's up, buddy? Hey. I think so. The Bible says you are either of God or of the devil, dude.
Yeah.
Bingo. There is. Yeah. I'm so glad he said this. There is no neutrality spiritually, right? There is no independence spiritually. The Bible is very clear. You either belong to God or you belong to the devil, you know? So interestingly enough, and I'd love to hear what like the dispensational argument would be as to who the synagogue of Satan is here in Revelation 2 and 3. Because according to that passage in John, the Jews that did not believe in Christ, Jesus says they are not of Abraham. They are of Satan. But interestingly enough, they actually physically were of Abraham. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Jesus is obviously not talking about like physical lineage. Right. When he says you are not of Abraham, you are of your father, the devil. The devil didn't mate with anybody to produce those Pharisees. You know what I mean? So they're relying on their like genetics, saying, but we are descendants of Abraham. We are sons of Abraham. He is our father genetically. So we're good, because the Jews thought if you were a Jew, if you're a descendant of Abraham, you're in the covenant. You're one of God's chosen people, you know, especially if you obey the law. And then the Pharisees, bro, the ones that are the leaders, the ones that write the laws, the ones that impose the laws, right? The chief priests, like these are the Pharisees. Jesus tells them, you are of your father, the devil. You're not of Abraham. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, so we have to be careful, because if it is you're of God or if you're of the devil, if that's the case, then we can't just we're not separating them into their own category. We're not saying that the Jews are the synagogue of Satan and everyone else who's an unbeliever is not. They're all in the same category, right? So they're just like unbelievers, right? They're in the darkness. So it's not that we're not making another distinction, another category just special for them. And I don't think Jesus did that either. So that's something that we need to discuss or at least put out there. But
yeah, he's talking to, like, even in Revelation, if I'm not mistaken, the church of Smyrna, church of Philadelphia, it sounds like they were being persecuted by the synagogue, right? It sounds like they were being persecuted by the Pharisees, who also persecuted and killed Jesus. And then the Pharisees sent out Paul to kill Christians. So they were hunting Christians. Paul had his Damascus Road moment, right, and converted. Yeah. But the Jews, the Pharisees, well, I should say the religious Jewish leaders at the time, were persecuting the Christians. They were hunting them down to kill them, right? So to me, if we to think about it, if we believe that there are Christians and there's everybody else, right? You're either gods or the devils. When somebody goes Christian hunting, who do they represent?
The devil.
The devil. Yeah, your audio sucks again, but maybe it clears up. You think I should kill Riverside? Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to kill it. Give me 1 second. Boom. Boom. Dennis, we need to get you a new computer. Can you talk? You're still dead. Okay, you're back. You're back. It's okay. Riverside. Right. We can't run both of these softwares at once. Okay. Yeah. So, if they're hunting Christians, who are you representing?
The devil.
The devil, right? You are of the devil. Simple as that. I'm just going to say this, like I'm going to make a blanket statement. If you're hunting Christians, you belong to Satan. Pretty simple, right? No disagreement here from any denominations, right? So when the Jewish leadership is hunting the Christians in the early church or in the before 70 AD or whenever this is, right? Whenever John's writing this, either it could be before 70 AD or after 70 AD. That's a different conversation. He's writing because the religious Jews are hunting the Christians. Right. So when he says they are a synagogue of Satan, it is because those religious Jews are running the synagogues. If it was the Muslims that he's writing to, he would probably say it's a mosque of Satan. If it was Hindus he's writing to, it would probably say it's a temple of Satan. Okay. If it was another church he's writing to who's killing Christians, he'd probably say you're a church of Satan. You see what I'm saying? So it's just the only reason we use the term synagogue of Satan in reference to Jewish non-believers who are persecuting Christians is because they worship at a synagogue. Yeah. Right? That's it. This isn't like a racist, anti-Semitic thing. It's just, hey, your building's called a synagogue. You're killing Christians. So by proxy, you are a synagogue of Satan. You know? What's going on in the chat? What do we got?
Yeah, man. Let's see. Welcome, friends, by the way.
Yeah, thank you guys for chiming in.
Lynette was saying something about going into Matthew 15:38. Let's see. He answered. She just gave us like the verse, but I don't know what. Here, let's pull it up. Let's see what she's.
Yeah, pull up that verse, Matthew 13:38.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it say?
The field is the world, and the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who saved them is the devil. Or who sowed them. Sorry. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels.
Wow.
Feels like I've never read this verse before in my life. Why is that?
But check this out. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. Very, very interesting passage. Bro, I honestly, I know we've been talking about this lately, but the whole not being dispensational thing is like new to me, you know? Do you want to pull this verse down or make us big screen again? The whole not being like dispensational thing is new to me. I have yet to like go back through and read the New Testament as a non-dispensational list. I'm still in Old Testament. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's just where we've been in our reading. But I'm. You
gotta step up your reading, brother.
I know I do.
Do Old Testament in the morning, New Testament in the evening. That's what I do. It's so nice.
I'm seeing passages in like entirely new ways. I equate it to, you know how after we read Heiser and then you start reading the Bible again, everything's with fresh eyes. Yeah. You know, that's how I'm now currently in the, like when I read the Bible, every single time I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is what it means. Because it changes your outlook. It changes your perspective, you know? Yeah. It's been really, really interesting. And it's also like just a good let's say I'm not here in a year and I'm back to dispensationalism, it's just been a very good exercise to adopt this other perspective, right? I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, because it's not a salvific issue, right? So it's a, for you personally, right? This doesn't change your faith or belief in Jesus, or, if anything, it strengthens it, I think, but it doesn't discount it.
Yeah, I agree, man. Check it out. Nick says, I believe the beauty of it all is the redemption of Jesus. Paul literally seen Stephen stoned to death and didn't lose an ounce of sleep. He was a part of the synagogue of Satan. Facts. But thank God Jesus is in the business of freedom and redemption, even when I was an enemy of God and choosing to live in my sin. Jesus still shed his blood for me. This is the reason why we must always keep our focus on him. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. And that's a crazy point, bro. Paul, synagogue of Satan. They're killing Stephen, right? He participated in it. But then road to Damascus, Jesus appears, conversion, right? That's crazy. So we're not, just because you're synagogue of Satan, mosque of Satan, temple of Satan, church of Satan, non-religious and just belong to Satan. So what would that be? Atheist of Satan, school of Satan, university of Satan? Like, what are we talking about? Just because you belong to Satan doesn't mean you're a lost cause. It just means you're currently in the possession and enslaved to Satan, sin and death. That's what the Bible says, right?
Yeah.
And what do we do as Christians? Doesn't mean I hate all Jews. Doesn't mean I hate all Muslims. Doesn't mean I hate all Hindus. Doesn't mean I hate all atheists.
Right.
All it means is that I can accurately state the fact when talking to Christians. Those people are of Satan. Yeah. Nobody's immune from being of Satan just because you have holy blood,
right?
Or special genetics. That's
right.
what the Pharisees said to Jesus. We have special genetics. We are of our father, Abraham.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the Zionists believe today.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to bring to light. We're not trying to throw the whole Israeli people into this one pot or category. They're in either of God or of Jesus. That's it. They're not,
No, of Satan or of Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, what did I say? Of God or of Jesus?
Of God or of Jesus. You sound like a synagogue of Satanists.
It sounds just like them now. See what?
Yeah.
I didn't say that, Ben. They made me say that. No. So yeah, we're not throwing all of them, but there are these Zionists that are claiming to be chosen, right? And that all that land belongs to them. The world belongs to them.
Hold on. We need to be really specific with our terms because this is a touchy subject. Okay. Zionists you can be like a Jewish Zionist. You could be a Christian Zionist. You could be like an atheist Zionist, Okay. Zionist just means that you believe Israel should exist as a nation and they have the right to go take that land. That's a Zionist. Mm-hmm. So you could just be a political person that believes, oh yeah, I'm going to make money off that. I'm going to support that. Okay. That means you're a Zionist. It's not a religious thing. Or you could be a Jew who thinks, hey, this is our land. God promised it to us, and we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen. That's a Jewish Zionist. And then Christian Zionists are, hey, God promised this to the Jews. We're going to help them make that happen. That's a Christian Zionist. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about what you were describing before, it's not just Zionism.
That's cool.
That was cool. What'd you do?
Yeah, I'm going to do that next time.
What was it? Do it again.
I clicked on someone's comment, and it showed up. You watch. I clicked on Nicholas's comment. And showed, look how cool that is. So, okay, guys, if you have these comments in there,
this is
worthwhile, and we can throw them on there, we'll do it.
Oh, dude,
can't throw amazing. All of them, but yeah.
Cool. I love using new technology. Yeah. Okay, so in my opinion, from my perspective, that's who's being referred to as the synagogue of Satan. And today, as a Christian, I have no problem using that terminology. You are of your father, the devil, or you are a synagogue of Satan to unrepentant Jews. I have no problem doing that because it's biblically accurate. Okay. Will I go out to Jews I meet and be like, synagogue Satan, synagogue Satan, father of the devil, not of Abraham? Probably not. I'm probably not going to approach it that way, like in my missionary work to these folk, right? I'm not going to start there, but I'm not going to lie. If I'm talking to other Christians who are just oozing support for Israel and Jewish people who are synagogues of Satan because they're not in Christ, I will start there. Because for me, showing them, hey, this is what Jesus thought about unrepentant Jews, right, is a starting point for the conversation. Sure. Don't tell me that just because, and this is part of dispensationalism, which we've been talking about as well. Don't tell me that just because they are Jewish, just because they have, like the Pharisee said, special genetics, right, up from Abraham. Do not tell me that I need to support everything they do, support wars, send them money. Like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't even tell me that I need to have any kind of special like feeling or sympathy or love towards them. Don't tell me that either. I don't believe any of that. I think I think we need to treat all people who are enslaved to sin, Satan, and death equally. Right.
Well, it's kind of like if a Muslim country were to come and say, hey, we need money, and they're persecuting Christians, or they're just whatever, or they want to just go and take over some other country, and they're calling on Christians, like, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't give them the money. We wouldn't even consider it, right? It'd be like a stupid thing, right? But that's the same exact thing. Because they're not special. They're not special.
And this is the discussion from the dispensational angle. They believe that they have to support Israel because of that passage that says, those who bless you, I will bless. What is that, Genesis? Pull that up. It's Genesis 12. It might be Genesis 12:1, or right there in the beginning. But the thing is, you will more often than not, you'll find that misquoted, and it's because it's like a Christian trope. Even though it sounds like a Bible passage, it's not in the Bible. Right. What it specifically said, you'll find. Have you found it?
Yeah. I just
pull it up.
I'm having trouble sharing like a
screen.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this. Okay, I think I fixed it.
All right. Oh yeah. Look, it's down at the bottom. There you go. Can you zoom in?
Oh no, I was zooming out.
The opposite. There you go. Okay, so Genesis 12:1. Now the Lord said to, so let's just count how many times how many times Abraham is like referenced. So now the Lord said to Abraham, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. Who are we talking about so far?
Abraham.
Ding, ding, ding. I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you, I will curse. And in you, the families of the earth will be blessed.
Dude, that's 12 times.
Was it only 12? I thought it was 16. I was on one
12. Hand. When I was like, man, don't get to 12. Don't get to 12.
Oh, dude, that's interesting. 12
right?
tribes, 12
Yeah,
years.
That's what I thought of. Like, oh no, here goes all
Very
of this.
Interesting.
All of these are going to be like, you see.
And even the idea of like, oh yeah, but he can be talking about Israel here. You can do that if you want. Like, you can make it say whatever you want for the narrative, right, that you're trying to put out there. But realistically, this does not talk about the current state of Israel. Do you want to make the passages small so we could be big again? This is God talking and promising stuff to Abraham. Where do we go?
What just happened, dude?
Do we have to? Where'd you go?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're the worst. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dennis,
Don't give me no controls.
you will. So you have to click us at the bottom back to be split screen.
Yeah, we're good now. No,
Jeez Louise. Learning on the fly with Bennis the Menace. Anyway,
that's what happens.
So obviously that passage is talking about Abraham, specifically the person, the singular individual Abraham. And guess what happens? Keep reading the story of Abraham. The people, the tribes, the kings that were good to Abraham, God blessed. The people, the tribes, the kings that were bad to Abraham, God cursed, punished. So much so that one of them was like, why the hell did you lie to me and tell me that this is your sister, this is your wife, and now God's cursing me? You know, literally that passage was fulfilled. The blessing and the cursing of Abraham was fulfilled in his own like presence, in his own lifetime. He watched it happening, you know? And that's not to say that there aren't other passages that talk about like the blessing of Israel, or the God's like desire to bless people who are good to Israel. I'm not saying that that's not in the Bible. I'm just saying this trope, those who bless Israel, I will bless, is non-existent in Genesis 12, non-existent. And he makes the distinction there between you, aka Abraham, and the nation that is to come. And he does not say, I will bless those who bless that nation who is to come. He says, I will bless those who bless you, Abraham, right here, right now, you know? Very important distinctions.
Yeah, I don't know if this matters, but I'm just going to pull this up really quick.
Oh, God, please don't click more buttons.
Hang on. I'm getting the hang of this. Getting the hang of it. All right. Is it coming? All right. See that? This is the Septuagint.
Make it bigger. Zoom in.
Okay.
So the Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. The Septuagint is the Bible that Jesus and the apostles were using when they were alive. So it kind of does matter.
Well, it matters, yeah, because we're reading it, but it just, for me, I don't know why, it could be stupid, but when I read this, look, and the Lord said to Abraham, go forth out of thy land, out of thy kindred, out of thy father's house. Like, it just means more than just the you. I think that when it's the thy and the thee, because then you get to the thee, and thou shalt be blessed. Like, I think it's more personal.
Thee, thy, thou, them.
Yeah. To me, it becomes more
I
personal.
smell a Jewish man.
Than just you. Do you see what I'm saying though? I know what maybe it's just my weird way of thinking, but it makes those words make it more personal to who God is speaking to than you. Because you then, I think that the word you could be I don't know, perceived differently. That's just what I wanted to bring up. No. You're right. Because the you, watch, hey, after you minimize the share screen, you have to click on the second option there for the screen splitting. Go to this. That.
See, I've been doing it. It hasn't been automatic. So yeah, man, this is a very important distinction, right? So again, this isn't, oh my God, these guys hate Jews. No, we're just trying to figure out what the freaking Bible is saying about this topic, right? Because let's be honest, there is another side of the discussion, the dispensational side, which uses that passage to say we need to bless Israel today.
Correct. I mean, they all do
it. They all do that.
That's what funds Israel.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's another discussion.
It's in the politics. Ted Cruz used it.
Ted Cruz used it. If you guys remember, 6 months ago when he was on Tucker Carlson, and he said, I support Israel because the Bible tells me so. And Tucker
Yeah.
Carlson says, where does the Bible tell you to support the current nation of Israel? And he's
Right.
like, those who bless Israel, I will bless. That's what we're talking about. That's exactly why we're having this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that there are other passages that will relate Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel. Like they'll intertwine them in some way where when you speak the word Abraham, it also means the future Israel. This passage does not do that. Contextually does not, it is not doing that.
Yeah, and I want to make a point here. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. When God refers to Israel, like in the prophets, sometimes he uses the name Isaac,
Mm.
but he never, I don't remember anywhere where he uses the name Abraham to refer to Israel
Well,
in the
that's
prophets.
interesting. Is Isaac is not Jacob, right?
Oh, sorry.
You're talking
Jacob
about
is the one. Jacob.
whose name gets
No, Isaac.
changed to
No,
Israel?
Isaac. No, Jacob. Jacob does. Jacob does.
I
Okay,
think
but he does.
Is
Yeah,
it Jacob whose name becomes Israel?
Yeah, because Jacob is the one that wrestled.
Ah, yeah. Isn't there a
Jacob is-
passage? Isn't there a passage that says this might be in Hebrews or Galatians where it says that the promise was given through Jacob, not through Abraham? You know, because Jacob is the one Jacob is the one through whom I look. Genesis 20. Okay, Lynette's yelling at me. Hold on. Genesis 27:29. Genesis 27:29. So Genesis 27:27. So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, and the Lord has that the Lord has blessed." Ooh, the Lord's blessed fields have a certain smell. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's riches, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and people bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. Dang. Okay, so first off, this is Isaac talking to Jacob, right? This is not, I mean, I'm not saying that the Bible's like not all inspired, but this is not God talking to Abraham or God talking to anybody. This is probably, if I had to guess, this is probably Isaac repeating the words of Abraham, of the patriarch, you know, over his son. But that's a big difference. That's a big difference in my mind than God making prophecies and promises compared to a father's blessing over his son, you know? What's that one, see?
No, this is
You
the
got
one.
that.
Yeah, I just wanted people to see it so we can show people what Lynette was pointing at. Is it possible that what he's saying here to who is he saying this to? He's saying this to Jacob.
Yeah, Isaac
Yeah.
is saying this to
Or
Jacob.
Isaac is blessing Jacob.
Yeah.
And could this be, I mean, he's giving a blessing. Does this constitute as like God, like, is it at the same as at par with God's blessing to Abraham?
Oh,
Okay,
that's what I'm. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Go ahead.
Okay, that's what you just said, right? That's what you're asking.
Mhm.
And then, could it be possible that this blessing was ended basically after when they got exiled by Babylon?
Well, first off, Isaac's blessings upon Jacob are not binding to me as a Christian. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
Isaac's blessings
blessing.
to his son Jacob are not binding to me as a Christian.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's not God. This is a blessing that he's giving his son, right? It also talks about how nations will bow down to them. Are we bowing down to Israel? Nations will serve
Yeah.
you. Are we
Chat,
serving them?
what do you guys think? This is what he's saying is making a good point.
I'm not saying that Isaac wasn't like inspired in that moment by the Holy Spirit to give his son this blessing, but it is not binding in any way to me, right? Moses gives blessings and gives decrees in the Old Testament to the people of Israel. Why don't we obey that? Why is that not binding to Christians today? Because Christ already fulfilled that, right? He fulfilled the law. You're not going to find
they
you're
were
not going to find
bound to the
Christians that
law.
just
They were
exactly.
bound to the law. They were bound to those promises, to that covenant, right?
Yeah.
They were in that covenant, and we're not. So why would we bring that over into this new covenant, right?
Totally. As if it's a command.
Right.
Right? It's not that there's anything wrong with blessing Israel. And by blessing, we've had this discussion. Literally, the only thing we can probably do as Christians to bless Israel is pray for them to repent. That's kind of it. I have no problem with that. But guess what? I also pray for atheists to repent. I pray for Muslims to repent. I pray for Chinamans to repent. I pray for Hindus to repent. I pray for everybody, right? We should be praying for everybody to repent. It's not a specific thing we only do for Israel. That's nobody believes that, you know? Yeah. But that's a question that comes up. What does it mean to bless Israel? You know? Because one of the things we've talked about and hit on before is a lot of Christians, a lot of like specifically dispensationalists. You're not getting like Orthodox Christians donating to pro like Jewish ministries. You're not getting Catholics. It's kind of specifically a dispensational like trait, you know, to support Israel in a very particular way that goes above and beyond how they support any other nation, any other culture, any other people group, you know? And to me, I don't think we're called to do that. I don't think we're called to that. I think we're called to bless everybody equally. I think we're called to pray for everybody equally. I think we're called to call out everybody's sin equally. That's a huge one.
Yeah,
right?
that's another sin of omission that you were talking about the other night, right? That's not happening. They're not doing it. You know, they're not calling out the sin of the Zionist Jews.
Okay, so Zionist is one, but I would say then we've got another category. We've got Talmudic Judaism, right? Or Talmudic Jews. That's a different category. Those are people who believe the Talmud, you know, a satanic.
Don't you think the Zionists believe
text. That? No, because you could be a Christian Zionist and you don't believe the Talmud. You could be a political Zionist.
Right, but like a Jewish Zionist.
A Jewish Zionist probably does buy into it, you know? But bro, I'll tell you what, one of the strangest things I've been seeing over the past couple of days on the Twitter, where I've been spending a lot of time, one of the strangest things is watching church or Christian pastors and influencers after the Epstein files are released, right? Which point the finger at Epstein and his manager, Israel, like he was working on behalf of Israel. So even though that's the flavor of the day right now, and that wickedness is exposed for the whole world to see, instead of Christian pastors and influencers calling out Epstein and Israel for what they both did, because they're both responsible, they are posting about Islam.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
How is this the time to call out Islam and Muslim countries? I get it. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't, right? I call out everybody equally. So when there's a Muslim terror attack, then we call out Islam. Yeah. When there is a Talmudic Jewish terror attack, or a Israeli state operative who has been at works for 50 years, right? Defiling thousands of young girls and killing them along the way as well. Maybe it's time we call that out. Maybe that's just what we should be doing at this point in time, and then get back to talking about Islam when the next terror attack happens, because it will. We know it will.
Sure.
That's been the weirdest thing to see timing wise online. So much so that it feels like either a total distraction, like they're actually trying to distract, to turn Christians like animosity away from what Israel did through Epstein. And like, hey, no. Let's focus back on how bad the Muslims are, right? The Muslims are the worst. Like, we got to hate them.
Right.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Like right now we're dealing with this, and you're not calling it out. And that is, in my opinion, a sin of omission. I don't know, dude, here's the wildest thing, bro. The loudest voices in this space, like Jack Hibbs, like Amir Safari, and some others who were criticizing Islam in this season, okay? It almost feels like an op. Like the loudest pro-Israel voices right now, or actually over the past year or two, are also the ones instantly posting about Islam and how naughty they are. Instantly, even though there's been no recent like terror attack to point to, only the Israeli terror attack through Epstein.
Right.
It almost feels like an op. Like it almost feels like they got a call saying, hey, quick, divert. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I would not doubt that exact thing happened. I literally wouldn't doubt that they got a phone call or a text saying, hey, you need to distract from this, because they get paid, some of them. I'm not saying Jack Hibbs or Amir, but some Christian pastors and some Christian influencers get paid by the state of Israel to propagandize. And we've talked about this before. There was a list of 10,000 church pastors, Christian dispensational church pastors and Christian dispensational influencers who are on a list to be paid and flown out to Israel to get education on how to propagandize for the state of Israel in their churches. I wonder if the two people I mentioned earlier are on that list. I wouldn't doubt it, but hey, pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy.
So let's get back to the chat. Here we have Lynette. Oh, look how nice that is.
Dude, that is
That's
sick.
so cool. It's our friend Lynette. So our atheist part of today's synagogue of Satan, or Muslims, or any pagans, what do you think?
No, we defined these terms earlier, right? The reason synagogue of Satan is being used is because the church, whether Smyrna or Philadelphia, was being persecuted by the Jewish leaders, the synagogue, where the Pharisees were out of, right? So he calls them a synagogue of Satan because that's where they worship. They worship Satan in their synagogue. If he was writing to Muslims persecuting Christians, he would have said Mosque of Satan. If he was writing to atheists persecuting Christians, he would have said University of Satan, or wherever atheists worship Satan. So I just think it's a very specific term targeting the Jewish religious leaders, And here's the other thing, dog. There are still synagogues. There are still synagogues around. When there wasn't,
right?
Well, I shouldn't say there weren't synagogues anymore, but when the number of synagogues started to disappear after AD 70, right? After the fall of the temple, right? The destruction of the temple in AD 70, and after the Jews were kicked out in exile, do you think that they went and started setting up synagogues everywhere that they were exodus to? I don't think so. I don't think they had the political power. I don't think they had the money. I don't think they had the will. I don't think they had the ability to, There's still synagogues around. So much so that they're powerful enough to persecute two separate churches, Smyrna and Philadelphia. You know, to me, that's an indicator of date of revelation authorship, because dispensationalists will say the book of Revelation was written after the destruction of the temple. And so it can't be referring to the destruction of the temple in Revelation because it's after. So it's got to be referring to the future. I'm not like, I don't really care when it was authored, you know, I'm just putting out both perspectives. And then the people who are called like preterist or partial preterist or whatever the terms are, the people who think most of the prophecies, including Revelation, were fulfilled at the time of Christ in AD 70, they will say that Revelation was written before AD 70, before the destruction of the temple, and that AD 70, and that Revelation is actually talking about that destruction, you know? So it's kind of an interesting little tidbit in there that there's still synagogues persecuting Christians, because that's what was happening before the temple was destroyed. After the temple was destroyed, you know who started persecuting the Christians? Primarily.
After the temple was destroyed? I mean,
Rome.
Oh, but
Rome.
They were already doing it, weren't they?
They were, but I'm just saying after the temple was destroyed, it was primarily Rome, you know? Yeah. So that's another little fun fact there, you know? Yeah. Dang. If we have dispies and when I say dispi, it's just short for dispensational. It's not like pejorative. It's not an insult. I just don't want to keep saying dispensationalist. It's so long. Yeah. If we have any dispi friends in the chat, what do you guys think the synagogue of Satan is? Dude, you know what I used to think it was when I was dispi? What did you think? What did you think?
The Pharisees specifically.
Really? The whole time? Even while you were dispi?
Yeah. The Pharisees the whole time.
You're really smart.
My whole life. Like, I mean, since I was a kid that I can think of it, you know, and whenever
you really thought it was the freaking Pharisees the whole time?
Yeah.
Damn,
always,
bro.
My whole life.
That's crazy. I guess I had the wool over my eyes like way tighter than you.
Who'd you think?
You know how it says those who call themselves Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan? Mm-hmm. I literally thought there was a group of people who were not Jewish,
like not wannabes,
and they were pretending. No, that's how literally I took that.
That's so funny.
They say they are Jews, but are not. They are a synagogue.
That's so funny. How literally
That's
thought, so cool.
I guess it's cool.
Hey, it's cute.
I think it's cute now looking back on it as well. Like cutely pathetic. Hey, I literally thought there was a group of people pretending to be Jews. Like they were like putting on the clothes and had the burns and the hat. And they were like going around trying to do Jewish stuff. You know, that's what I thought.
Jews, dude. That's hilarious. Ben.
Wow. I think it's just so take it literally. But hey, here's what's a trip, bro. So he literally says that that this is kind of crazy. He doesn't say you're not true Israel, you know? Mm-hmm. He says you're not actually Jews. Yeah. So not only the term like true Israel, but fake Jew is also biblical.
Yeah.
Like a Jew who's not actually a Jew. So it's like there's other passages, I think it's in Galatians 3, where it says like, if you have faith, you are a descendant of Abraham, right? Mm-hmm. Here, or in another place it says something along the same lines, if you have faith, you are Israel, or you are in the house of Israel, or something like that. And then here, it says that you can be a Jew and not actually be a Jew. So all three of those things, son of Abraham, in the nation of Israel, and Jew, all three of those things can be or are falsified by people who are not in Christ. but can still be a genetic descendant of Abraham, a actual Israelite, and actual Jew. But God says, no, you're not. No, you're not. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting, man.
So what do we do with this?
Man, because you always try to bring it back to what do we do?
Because this Epstein stuff is starting to really like get to me, man.
It's pretty bad.
What's getting to me is the lack of concern that I see in like my world. I believe, like, if I don't talk about it, no one's talking about it.
It's true. It's true. Nobody cares, man.
It's the most disgusting, vile, satanic realization that we've ever had in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That people are actually raping, or gosh, I shouldn't have said that, huh?
Rapping.
They're doing all this satanic stuff, right? They're torturing. They said that they were eating. They're drinking their blood. I mean, they're doing these things that were talked about 5 years ago with QAnon. Remember QAnon?
Right.
And people were saying, "Oh, this is happening," and they're like, "No, this is crazy. That can't." And then 5 years later, 6 years later, we're starting to. It's not even a maybe this is happening. No. There's proof that this is happening. Files over files and files and files, and we haven't even seen the footage that we'll probably never ever see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
That they have. That they said they have. They say that they have footage, and they can't release it because it would be too detrimental to the victims.
No. It'll be detrimental to the economy.
To the economy and to that's why Pam Bondi was talking about the stock market when she was being questioned about this. She was talking about the stock market when she was questioned about Epstein files. Yeah. It is, to me, that's where my anger and my rage lies. It's in the people that just don't care, and they call themselves Christian.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Church of Satan should be on that list, but what it also shows you, Dennis, is how compromised like the American politicians are, right? Our savior, Trump, and the Republicans and the conservatives, they're supposed to come in and fix it all.
Right.
And they are the ones trying to cover up what's going on. Currently, they are the ones doing it. The Democrats are not in power, okay? The Democrats covered it up when they were in power. This isn't a partisan thing. It's both sides doing the exact same freaking thing, Yep. And so, sorry to say it, but like freaking Trump and the Republicans care more about the economy than they do the putting an end to child sacrifice, child rap, and they care more about their stonks than they do about like morality and Satanism occurring at the highest levels of this country. That's crazy.
Well,
do not tell me we're a Christian nation. Do not tell me that ever again until we become a Christian nation.
It's not only that they don't care; it's that they're participating, or at least some of them are participating, or at least some who are in really high levels of power are participating in this. It's not that they just don't care and it's just complacent.
Right.
It's more than that. It's they're active in these things. They're complicit in these things.
But you're totally right. But Trump specifically cares more about the economy.
Right.
Because Pam Bondi, who do you think told her this? Who do you think told her to say, or put the idea in her head that if we indict everybody, if we arrest everybody that's on these lists, the economy is going to collapse? Who do you think gives a crap about the economy more than Donald Trump while he's president? This is something he told her. More than likely, this is something he told her.
Do you think that there's more people
if we go after these people, the economy is going to crash, and I'm not going to let that happen on my watch because it's going to make me look like a shit president.
Oh, true. No,
I guarantee that this was Trump's doing, And so sweep it under the rug and kick it down the road for the next guy.
Yeah.
What did you ask earlier?
Do you think that there's people that that have that same mentality, like in America, they're like, yeah, you know what, it's bad, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep the economy going. I'd rather keep like my
Of
world
course.
going. You
Of
know, like,
course. I think the majority of people have that mentality.
oh,
And
man,
I think it's disgusting.
yeah,
I have a
dude.
question. Do you think when the Mayans or the Egyptians were up like on their temple mounts holding up a baby, right? With like, let's say the priest has the headdress on and he's like high on peyote or DMT and he's holding up the baby over the flames and then like slits its throat and then throws it into the fire. And the crowd is and doing this nonstop, right? Like
Yeah,
sacrificing all these children. Do you think there were people in the crowd like holding a baby, like, oh my God, that's terrible? You know, there's others going, yeah. But
yeah,
there's others going like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. I hope
yeah.
they don't take this. This is my child, you know? But do you think that they did anything about it or spoke up? Or do you think that they were like, yeah, but we need a good harvest. We need a good economy.
Yeah,
So sacrifice that child. You know what I mean? Don't speak up. Don't make a fuss. The gods demand child blood. Give it to them so that we can have a good economy. How's that any different than what we're doing?
right,
Let these people
right.
continue to do their Epstein stuff, right? To do their satanic cannibalism, occult rituals, etc., right? Rapping all these young girls. Let them continue because I don't want my 401k to go down. I've worked 30 years. You've worked in a system that is satanic. That's what this is. We exist in a satanic matrix.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're all kind of complicit.
Yeah. Check this out. You want to read that? Because it's a little far from me.
Could Epstein be bigger than just the Mossad, but full on Luciferian, which could include many intelligence agencies from multiple nations? He can be, but what we know he definitively is Mossad. So he is definitively an Israeli asset, right? Were there other agencies like the CIA implicated? For sure. They actually arrested him, 15 years ago or whenever he first got pinched. And I forget who the guy was from the FBI that told the local police in Florida, hey, let this guy go. Sweetheart deal, because he belongs to intelligence, right? And so he was probably playing two sides. He was probably playing Israel and playing America at the same time. He was playing Mossad and playing CIA, you know? You don't think the CIA or MI6 or any of these any of these other intelligence agencies, you don't think they all knew exactly what he was doing? You don't think they knew Prince Andrew is freaking running around on Epstein Island with like girls?
Yeah,
you don't think they knew that? Of course they knew that. Of course they knew. They probably all thought, hey, this guy is getting very interesting information from a lot of people. How can we use that? You know, this is the thing, bro. The world is Satan's. This is his world. Okay.
Yeah.
When Satan offers Jesus the world, the nations in the wilderness, when he's being tempted, Jesus doesn't say, they're not yours. He doesn't say that. He says, don't tempt the Lord your God.
Yeah.
You know, this is his world. So don't be surprised when the governments of the world are satanic, right? Don't be surprised. But I'm sure most Christians would agree with that. But, and listen, and a lot of Christians and churches call out certain satanic governments, like the Muslims. And the Muslims are really bad. They're really evil. The Muslims are just as evil as every freaking other satanic nation.
Yeah.
Just because they're more violent doesn't make them more evil. Yeah. Satan's is Satan's. You know, Satan's going to Satan, whether it's one way or another, right? And in that same boat is the nation of Israel, you know, because they deny Christ. At least, I'm not a Muslim apologist here, so I'm just making arguments, just putting arguments out there for folks to like be shook and awake a little bit. At least Muslims think Jesus is a prophet, the highest prophet, the greatest prophet, and they will not stand for anyone insulting him, you know?
Yeah.
At least they have that much respect for Christ, right? At least before they kill you, they offer you to what's it called? Convert, you know? But then you look at Talmudic Judaism, to be specific, right? And they think Jesus was a sorcerer, a false prophet, that the Jews killed him correctly, righteously, and that he's in hell, burning in a vat of human feces for human excrement, for all eternity. He is one of two or three Jews who will never leave hell, according to the Talmud. All other Jews, even if they're really naughty, they may spend time in hell, but then they're eventually released because they have special blood. They're God's chosen people. You know what I'm saying? Fascinating stuff, but not Jesus. Not Jesus. And then who do we pick on the most? Obviously, they're evil Muslims because they're the most violent. I get it. I totally get it. I get it, and they deserve it. But when it comes to Jesus, these guys over here are way worse. You know what I'm saying? And I care about that. I care about that a lot, actually. So to cover for them or to try to deny these truths or obfuscate, look that up.
I can't even spell it. Obfuscate? What? I never said that word in my life.
Obfuscate? Is it obfuscate? How do you spell that?
Okay, I would have put it in Google. Obfuscate. Oh my gosh.
Obfuscate.
Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible.
How do you spell it?
Intelligible. Obfuscate.
Obfuscate. The word of the day is.
I have never
obfuscate.
I don't even know what that word is.
I know, that's why it's the word of the day. Wow. To render obscure. So that's the only reason we're going hard right now on this topic, is because I feel like Christians are obfuscating responsibility.
Well done.
You know, towards speaking out against a particular nation's evil. That's it. That's the only reason. And after the next terror attack, we are going to spend time calling out Muslims, you know? Or after oh my God, have you seen this guy from Canada, the tranny that did the school shooting?
I saw a video on like him. He was like in his room, like chanting, or laughing or something. Something weird.
Find that video. Find that video. Canada tranny laughing. Google that. Well, maybe don't. You're going to jail. This is the most bro. This is like the most demonic thing I've ever seen. So he's been on transition medication for I think like the past 6 years. Okay. Full blown, like you could tell, full blown possession. Full blown. This is, man, it's actually kind of disturbing to watch this. But we got to do it because we are consistent. We call everybody out. Did you find it?
Keep going.
Oh, there's nothing to go. There's nowhere to go, bro. Obfuscate. But, oh, dude, you know what I want to do after this? I want to pull up some really, really interesting, as we wind down, maybe another 15 minutes. I want to pull up some really interesting conversations I've been having with people on the Twitters, you know?
That would be nice.
Because there's been some stuff that I
didn't send it to you. I thought I sent it to you, but I guess I didn't.
What, this video?
It's not coming. Yeah, I thought I sent it to you earlier, but it's not coming up on YouTube.
Bro, I bet you could go to an X. Can anybody find that video of the Canadian mass shooter laughing? Let me see if I can. Canadian shooter on X. Oh man. Oh my gosh, the AI videos are kind of amazing. Oh yeah, here we go. How do I
Found
share
it?
screen? Yeah, bro.
Oh my goodness.
How do I share
Found it on
screen? Here. You found it?
No. Now I gotta.
Okay. Canadian shooter. Boom. Is it?
Yeah, I see it. Can't hear it though.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to make it bigger.
It's disturbing.
Oh, it's super disturbing. Super loud?
I don't know.
Was-
It's fine for me.
Huh? It was fine for you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so loud for me. It blew out my eardrums. Let me know if this is audible.
That's loud. It's better. Dang.
That guy killed like 10 people, 15 people.
When this happened yesterday or the day before?
I'm not sure. I think yesterday. I think. Bro, how evil was that? How freaking
Yeah.
evil was that, man? And then
Yeah, dude.
and then people have like the balls to be like, oh, it's just mental illness. Well, but
Someone says reminds me of the laughter. Oh, Lynette says someone reminds me of the laughters in some churches.
oh shoot. She's probably not wrong.
Lynette, that's something that we would say.
I know, dang. We're
We're a bad influence.
we're a bad influence. Lynette, you're a menace.
Yeah, she is, definitely is. She's one of us.
Okay,
yeah,
you
man.
want to see?
What?
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just I don't want to get off the Epstein thing just because it's how do we what do we do? What do we do do we talk about it more? Do we what can we do? Because we're talking about it, we're pointing it out. Do we have these conversations with people? Like, do we bring it up in conversations?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I don't think it's gonna do anything.
Huh.
Like, I don't think we don't have, unless we rise up and just go full like anarchist and take out everyone. There's nothing we're gonna do about it. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's the craziest thing to acknowledge that definitively Satanists are running the country. They've told us they are. They've shown us pictures of what they're doing behind the scenes, and no one cares. No one's going to do anything about it. That's where we're at, bro. That's where we're freaking at. And churches on Sunday are going to tell us to support Israel.
And from here on out, I mean, it's only going to get worse, where this stuff is just going to leak more and more into, culture, society, and we're seeing it with the homosexuals and the trans stuff, and just the way that progressed, right? Over the last 50 years, 60 years. We're seeing it in our school systems. We're seeing it it's corrupted every part of society in our culture. This satanic, living in the dark, man.
Yeah.
This is this goes to what I've been dealing with for a while now, like how to live, like how do we live how Jesus, or not how do we, because he shows us how to, but like what are the implications of us actually living out the life that Jesus asked us to live, living out the Beatitudes and so much more. Does that make a change? Is that the way to change the world? Or is there no hope for changing the world, and we just gotta wait for Jesus to come back? Do you see my question there? So do we just talk about this and just do nothing and and just wait till Jesus comes back? Or is there an actual way to make an impact by not just talking about it, but by actually following Jesus and living out his commands and the things that he taught us in the Gospels?
Uh, I'm not. I'm not hopeful. I'm worried about like my neighbor, and I'm going to try to get involved locally. But on the big scale, I don't. I'm not hopeful, bro. I think we're just. I just think we're waiting. I just think we're waiting for Christ to return. You know, I think we do like personally, we do our best, and he does the rest. Like when we do our best, maybe he does miracles and stuff. But I feel like a lot of Christians are not doing their best. You know?
For sure. Yeah, I know that's the problem, right? Because if they were, I don't think we'd be where we're at right now. But you see, I kind of tend to agree. I tend to disagree on this. I think I was there for a long time where you're like, well, we're just waiting for Jesus. I'm just going to live the best life I can. I'm going to
Well, no,
follow
I didn't
Jesus.
say I'm going to live the best life, even though I am living a pretty best life right now. You know, I said we do our best.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was alluding to. So, but I used to think that. I used to think about that all the time. And I was content with that, but now I don't. Now, I believe that we can actually make a difference. And I'm starting to question, like, how much longer we have on this earth, or how much longer until Jesus comes. We might be still so far off of his return.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And yeah, over the last 6 years, I changed my mind so many times on this. I'm like, oh, he's coming back like within 10 years for sure. Oh man, maybe even 5 years. It's getting crazy. And then like, no, maybe another 50 years or so. And now it's like, I don't know, maybe even longer.
Yeah, we don't know if it's.
Does that change things though for you? If you're like, if you would sit in your mind, if you're like, yeah, I'm starting to believe it's a lot like further out.
No, it doesn't
Does that
change anything.
change? No. See, for me, it does.
Why?
Because I want to get more involved. It makes me want to do even more. I don't want to see people suffer as much as they do. And I think that with following Jesus, I believe that people can get healed. I believe that people can renew their minds and their character can be changed. I like actually believe that people can change and people's lives can change for the better, at least inside their minds and their hearts. And so I think if we could do that with enough people, I think that'll actually change societies and change cities, change societies. Like if Jesus' return is not in my lifetime, like I want to do everything I can for the rest of my life to spread the kingdom. If I were to believe that he's coming back in 10 years, I really wouldn't be doing everything I can to be spreading the kingdom.
You wouldn't be more frantic to spread the kingdom?
No,
if you knew the end was near? I would.
Man. Okay. I mean, I think either one is good, but I don't know. In my mind, listen, man, I lived my whole life and I wasn't frantic and I thought that Jesus was coming soon.
That's true.
So I wasn't frantic. So my actions prove the point that, yeah, maybe we should be more frantic, but I don't think the church is. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I think.
Do you think it's because they're more concerned about fulfilling prophecies to expedite the coming?
No, I think that they're just more concerned about being as comfortable as they can before they die.
That's a very good point too. Or before they go. I mean, shoot, if their greatest hope is escape of wrath, then comfort seems to be, bro, that's so funny. Comfort is like the greatest sin of the modern evangelical church.
Right.
That's a really good point.
And that's what we see has happened, right? I mean, that's our churches. That's what they've become, right? If they get a little uncomfortable, church is gone. No one wants to go to that church anymore, right? But if you make it as comfortable and inviting and welcoming as possible, dude, you're a huge business.
Yeah, man.
That's why we are a small channel.
We're
Let's
cooked.
be honest, Ben. We are a small channel because we talk about these hard things. And
You don't,
yes,
you don't
we
think
get,
people like talking about hard things?
I think that people, I think they do only when they're being agreed with.
Oh.
I think the problem is that we've become such sissies that we don't like friction. We can't take it. You think?
We're cooked.
Here's a question. Lynette, thank you for always chiming in. Do you think God will allow AI to reach singularity and people to merge with machines? Transhumanism, Tower of Babel. It's a good question. Do you think God will allow that to even happen? So we have that on the forefront, right? We're talking about it. People are talking about it. Science is talking about it. The big tech's talking about it. We can see the possibility, right? It's not far-fetched. We can totally see this happening in our lifetime. We see the chips. We see the speed of technology. So the question is, will God allow these things to happen? If we know that they're possible to be realized, will God allow it?
I mean, anything that happens here is allowed by God, right?
Right. I guess the question is he going to come back before that? Just probably putting a time frame on it.
I thought for the longest time, I thought there's no way God would allow humans to have so much power that they put something in their brains and have the ability to like alter their thoughts. Because realistically, if you can alter thoughts, then
you got full control.
There's no gospel. You can't spread gospel. If they say we don't want gospel spread, then gospel words will not come out of your mouth. Gospel thoughts will not enter your brain.
Yeah, you're under full control of something else.
Full control. And whether that control is like a spirit, a demonic, satanic spirit, or whether that control is a technological control, I think it's kind of the same thing. I think spiritual or supernatural is a form of technology that we just don't understand in this dimension. It could be a higher dimensional technology, and we just call it spiritual or supernatural. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's what I've thought, is that God wouldn't allow it. But here's the thing: historically, God allowed the fallen angels to alter all of humanity except Noah. It says Noah was the only one pure in his generation.
Yeah, and after that happened, the flood came. So he allowed it.
But the hopeful thing is, because we are in Christ and Christ is in us, right? We are united with Christ.
Yes.
Noah would not be the only one pure in our generation. Ben would not be the only one pure. Dennis would not be the only one pure. Lynette would not be the only one pure. All in Christ would be pure in their generation. You see what I'm saying? So would we all, this would lead more towards arguing that we would be taken away. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, Noah was not taken away. And it says it will be like in the days of Noah, right? Noah was not taken away from the tribulation that God brought upon the earth. Noah was spared through the tribulation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if there is a tribulation, and I've actually believed this for a long time. This isn't something new. Even though I was dispy, I always had like things with pre-trib rapture, things with the tribulation. Like I've had little quarrels along the way, you know? And one of them was, hey, Noah was not raptured. Noah was not taken away from the tribulation God brought upon the whole world, right? He was spared miraculously through it, you know? And so if we are like Noah in that time, it makes more sense that the tribulation would somehow happen around us. We are somehow spared from the evil. Even in Revelation, it says that those monsters, the scorpions that come out of the pit with the flying wings, who are allowed to attack
Yeah.
everyone except for those who are sealed
Yeah.
by God. You know, we are spared, even, or whoever the elect in the tribulation are,
Yeah.
they are protected by God in that time. It's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Let's quick with the verses. Revelations 3:10. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth.
Well, hold on. This is verse 10, right?
Mhm.
Verse 9 was the one we read earlier about the synagogue of Satan. Specifically, dude, this is why context is so important. Revelation 3, I'm going to go to
Yeah.
9.
8 and 9,
Behold,
right?
8, 9, 10. Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Behold, I will make them to come and excuse me, and bow down before your feet. And they will learn that I have loved you. And now what Lynette just sent, because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. I am coming soon. Hold fast what you have so that no one may seize your crown. Okay, so would you agree that verse 9 and verse 10 are related? Or do you think verse 9 about about the church being persecuted by the synagogue of Satan, the Pharisees, do you think that that is talking about pre AD 70, and then verse 10 that says, because you have patiently endured, I will keep you from the hour of trial tribulation, is talking about 2,000 years later at the 7-year tribulation? Do you think there's a 2,000-year gap here? Do you see what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Or
That's
do you think this is talking about the same
really
thing?
good question, man. It's gotta be. For me, it's the same thing.
I think it's talking about the same thing. I think when he says, this is crazy. I think when he says, and they will learn that I have loved you, or I'm sorry, where he says, I will make them come and bow down before your feet,
Oh.
and they will learn that I have loved you because you have kept my word about patient endurance, probably enduring the synagogue of Satan who has been persecuting you. I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming upon the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. How do we know that this trial, this tribulation, is not the means by which God makes the synagogue of Satan come bow down at your feet and learn that I have loved you? How do we know that this isn't fulfilled when the Christians who listened to Jesus's words, who said that when you see armies surrounding Jerusalem, flee to Judea? How do we know that this isn't talking about Christians leaving Jerusalem, fleeing to Judea, escaping the Roman persecution and destruction of Jerusalem and the temple? And then when the Christians all survive, it shows the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews, the Pharisees, the survivors of that calamity, that tribulation. Oh my God, these people are loved by God. They didn't die. You see what I'm saying? That's how I see this.
I do. Yeah. Lynette saying, read verse 11 too. I am coming soon. Hold fast what you have so that no one may seize your crown. Yeah.
Sure. That's fine. But just so,
how do we read that? How do we read that into that time of their lives during 80, 70?
Historically, I should say in scripture, a coming of the Lord is often a judgment.
Yes,
a coming on the clouds, okay? References about coming on the clouds is often a reference to judgment. So when he says, I am coming soon for what? Can it possibly be this tribulation that he just referred to? Can it be that he's coming to to judge Jerusalem and destroy the temple. Did you know that Josephus, the Jewish historian, and also I think Tacitus, the Roman historian, both talk about that there was signs in the heaven for a month or a year, I can't remember, over Jerusalem and over the temple, one of which looked like a cross. How do we know that? How do we know that that's not what Jesus is saying here when he says, I'm coming soon? How do we know it wasn't in judgment over Jerusalem? You see what I'm saying?
The judgment over Jerusalem could be something that could be that, or it could just be this. Hey, I'm, like, don't despair. I'm coming back. Hold fast. I mean, it could just be like, hey, I'm going to prepare a place for you. It could be this.
Sure.
I don't think it has to do. I like what your question was earlier. Like, well, do you skip, from 80, 70 to the future between verse 9 and 10?
Dennis, but we keep seeing that, man.
9, 10, and 11. We do keep seeing it, and that's the question I think we have to ask. And I'm curious, Lynette, because you're very active tonight with us, like always. Do you see that there's a separation between verses 9 and 10 and 11? Let's just say between 9 and 10. Do you think that there's a separation? Do you think that 70, or is 8 and 9 also talking to the future as well? Is the church of Smyrna? Is that a future church of Smyrna, or is it the church of Smyrna back then?
That's a really good question, because I've heard a lot of dispensational pastors apply this to the tribulation 2,000 years later.
Yeah, that's
even though it's literally addressed to a particular church.
In Smyrna,
they'll take these passages and fast forward 2,000 years to apply them to us today. But it doesn't say that. It literally doesn't say that. It doesn't say that you get to fast forward 2,000 years and apply it. You can use it as like a archetype, you know what I'm saying? Like a prototype, but it doesn't apply. Like, there's no contextual application for a 2,000-year future fulfillment here in this. You could say there's other stuff in Revelation. There's other future stuff. I believe that, but not this. Not this. This is.
I have a hard time making it split, like making 10 and 11 to the future. And so she's like, well, then do you apply verse 9 to today at all? Behold, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Behold, I will make them come and bow down before your feet, and they will learn that I have loved you. So do you apply that to
in the same way that you can apply the notion of hold fast so nobody takes your crown, right? That's a universal principle. It's timeless, right?
That's how I see it.
I can apply that to my life, right? I can also apply the notion that there are fake religious Jews who claim to be like of God and are not. They are of Satan. I can apply that to today, but it doesn't mean that he's not specifically talking to the Church of Philadelphia here about that problem that they were facing.
Oh, is
like it doesn't mean that the Church of Philadelphia is metaphorical and the literal application is 2,000 years later for this. That's not what it's saying at all. That it's literally fulfilled and addressed to these people, and we can like tease out things that apply to us today. But I would never take this and say that this is a like a eschatological passage proving a future tribulation and stuff. I can't do that. I can never wrap my mind around that, you know? But what I keep seeing, Dennis, what I keep seeing is a lot of 2,000-year gaps between passages when it comes to like dispensational perspectives, you know? And I don't think that was the original intent of the author or the original understanding of the audience when these things were written to them. You know, we should be understanding the passages and the letters. We should be doing everything in our power to understand them according to the original audience. Um,
Yeah. So,
that's how
but
I
let's
see
keep
it.
reading. Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you. And you're right. It was the Church of Philadelphia, not the Church of Smyrna. My bad. Um, but then if we keep reading, right? That's what I like. What Lynette was doing. Like, we'll keep reading. So 10, because you have kept my word and about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world to try those who dwell on the earth. I am coming soon. Hold fast hold fast to what you have, so that no one may seize your crown. The one who conquers, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Never shall he go out of it, and I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down from my God out of heaven, and my new name. You see, all this to me is like super spiritual and maybe futuristic. This is, I think, where the confusion comes in, because if like you start at 8, it's like very 80, 70-ish. But then it kind of, it's hard for me to keep it to 80, 70 as I keep going. I think that's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's like I see it starting off, but then I see like, oh, well, this is kind of getting kind of futuristic or very super, super spiritual. Can you see that?
I can, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is still applicable in 80, 70. All of this, even the spiritual part. The one who conquers, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Never shall he go out of it. And I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down from God out of heaven, and my own new name. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Well, I agree. Whether it's to the church of Philippi, who perseveres and doesn't give in during tribulation or trial or whatever, right? And holds fast and maintains his crown. These things apply to them. Whether it's me, who holds fast and doesn't give into tribulation and turn against Christ, these things apply to me. This is not the spiritual portion. The back half is not something that only applies in the future.
Okay.
It also
Okay.
applied to
Okay.
them. It also
Okay.
applied to them at the point of death
Okay.
in
Okay.
AD 70 and 75
Yeah,
and
you totally redeemed yourself at
1500s.
the end there. I was not
Totally
tracking.
redeemed
I
yourself.
was not tracking until you said that last thing, that it applies to both, which I agree with. I agree. I can see that it applies to both, because if you look at 12, right, the one who conquers, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Where was the temple of God?
Heaven.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's in Jesus, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
never shall he go out of it. That's eternal salvation, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Okay. That's how I read it. Never shall he go out of it. I will write on him the name of my God. Like, this is salvation. This is eternal security in Jesus. That's how I read this part right here. So that could apply to that time and future time. I think that's where it gets lost. I think that's where people, I don't know, because I can see it. I can see how I even read that before. That's how I read it. I read it as, okay, maybe that was for the church, but then it ended for the future.
And you put a 2,000-year gap.
And I put a 2,000-year gap, or however, to now it might even be more than just
Bro, I'm going to just guess that if you have to insert 2,000-year gaps, it's not the original intent of the author. I think that's a pretty safe assumption to make, just across the board.
So read every promise to the conqueror in each letter, it's future. So Lynette is pushing back. She's like, every promise to the conqueror in each letter is future. But why, Lynette? Why can't it be both? Why can't it be enduring through their persecution, through their trial that they were going through in AD 70? Because it was massive. It was the destruction of the temple. It was the removal of the presence of God from the people. It was a big deal. I think that's another problem that I had. I never understood. I never heard preaching on it, sermons on it. I never read a book on it, on AD 70 and what really happened then, and how big that problem was, where they destroyed the temple, because that's where the presence of the Lord was, right? That's where the sacrifices were happening. That's where they were forgiven. That's where they did their feast. That's their whole life, their whole source of life came out
Everything.
of that.
Their
And it was
whole
completely
religion.
destroyed. So I think when you take it in that context of how important that time was, I think that this piece kind of overlooked at. I think that's the problem. And me too, because I didn't realize, like, oh my gosh, wait a second. This is massive. What happened there is
It's
way
almost
bigger
as
than
if
I have ever considered.
it's almost as if their whole world fell apart. See what I did there? You see what I did there?
Because you put in, where does it say the world? Where does it say? Because it's in that verse, isn't it?
It says that this hour of trouble that's coming upon the whole
the
world.
whole world. Yeah, that's another one that this piece, always talk about. I will keep you from the hour of trial that's coming the whole world. That's not the whole world. They were just in that part. Well, no, it's their whole world, their concept of world, of what they are living.
Well, not only that, but I could read you. I mean, let me know how many you want. The title or the term, the whole world, in the New Testament is often used of just like a territory, a geographic location, often the Roman Empire or Jerusalem. Because check it out.
Yeah, I do know this. Yeah, you're right.
Luke 2, verse 1. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. No, it didn't. A decree went out that a certain territory should be registered, right? In Acts, Agabus stood up and foretold by the Spirit that there would be a great famine over all the world. But there wasn't a famine over all the world. There was a famine in Rome, It goes on. There's an entire list of passages, you could look it up, where the term the whole world is not referring to the whole world.
Yeah.
This was a common way to express the Roman Empire. That was their world.
Yeah.
Their world.
If you're a Dispy and you're listening, and what do you think? You got to answer this. If you're a Dispy, what do you answer? How do you answer this? What Ben was just reading with the whole world? Are you just making an exception? Right? That's important. That's really important, because
it's extremely important.
People put this in my face all the time, that line, that verse. And you're right. Hey, Syntax, look who visited us.
What?
Grace us with his presence today.
What? Bro, how's your AI girl? How's she doing? I've been thinking about her lately.
Maybe he's gone. He's an AI polygamist.
Whoa, did you watch our episode on polygamy? You got multiple? Dude, I hope not. Well, that's between
I mean, if you're going to go that route.
That's between you and God, brother.
If you're going to go that route, just have fun.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. Lynette said, I agree with Dr. Missler that each letter, I'm sorry, but I'm addicted to this whole little.
That is a cool feature. I love it.
I agree with Dr. Missler that each letter has a near and far fulfillment. The ultimate fulfillment of the conqueror promises his future.
Well, the idea of read every promise, this is what she said prior, read every promise to the conqueror in each letter, its future. That's what I was saying. It applied to them at that point in time, literally, because the events of AD 70 were still future. That's another argument for an AD 70, a pre-AD 70 authorship. See how else this is, dude, you see how else the dating of the authorship of Revelation is affecting the interpretation?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you believe it was written after AD 70, after the destruction, then all of this is still future. Like I'm talking about end times future, if you believe that it was written before AD 70, before the destruction of the temple, then it's obviously very clear that it's referring to what's about to happen to these people in Jerusalem,
Yeah.
But if
you found out that it was written after, does that change your perspective?
What do you mean?
If you found out this was written after the destruction,
does it change my perspective on this, what we're talking about right now?
Speaking.
No,
do you think it's only future at that point?
Because it's still addressed to the Church of Philadelphia. And it's still addressed to the Church of Smyrna, and it's still addressed to the Church of Laodicea. So Jesus was speaking to them about something they're going to be facing, whether that is the destruction of the temple in AD 70 or whether that's something else because it was written after the destruction of AD 70. It's still addressed to them specifically with issues they're specifically dealing with. Does that mean that if I conquer till the end, I won't receive a crown and I won't be a pillar in the temple? And no, that's true about me too. So when it says that that Missler says there's a near and far fulfillment, that's true. There's a near fulfillment for them in Philadelphia, and there's a far fulfillment for me when I die. And when I persevere till the end, I get my crown and I become a pillar in God's temple. That's not something special to them. We all get crowns. We all throw them down in worship, right? When we're in heaven, we're all in the temple. We're all in the New Jerusalem. That's not something specific to the church.
So do we? Okay, but then verse 10, because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming to the whole world. Is that just near and not far? Or is that, how do you apply that to far?
And that's exactly what happened to the church of Philadelphia. They were kept from that destruction. Or
do you apply that to far though, or just that, or just near?
That would be, like literally, if they were kept from the destruction, then it was applied to them. You know what I'm saying? But how does it apply to us? I don't know. If we are faithful to God, we're not actually promised to be, that's the thing. We're not promised to be kept from tribulation or from trial because we're faithful. We're not promised that. The apostles were faithful. Jesus was faithful. The early church was faithful. None of them were spared anything. If anything, it says count it joy when we face trials and tribulation of any kind. It produces patience, endurance, yada, yada, yada. It's for Christians, suffering is to the glory of Christ and to our benefit. So I don't know if God saw fit to spare the church of Philadelphia because of their faithfulness so that they could carry on and continue to be the church, so be it. If he sees fit to spare us for whatever plans and purposes he has, so be it. If he sees that we have fulfilled our mission and we are ready to go back home where we belong, so be it. Like, it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
True.
To live as Christ, to die as gain. Like, either way, there's nothing in Scripture about us not suffering. That's crazy. That's why the pre-trib thing, the pre-trib rapture, so that we're spared from suffering. I'm not about that at all, because us suffering would bring Christ more glory, because we suffer well for him.
Right. So again, though, are you making that verse only to have a near reference and not far? Because what hour, if it's far, I understand the near. I totally get it. I totally agree with you. But if it is near and far, then what is he keeping us away from? What hour of trial is that he's keeping us away from in the far?
I didn't say that. It's a far fulfillment.
So that's what I'm asking you. Is it just near?
That part probably. I don't know. I can't see what truth.
Yeah. See, this is the issue.
What universal truth to glean from this idea of I will keep you, Church of Philadelphia, away from this hour of tribulation that I am bringing upon the Roman Empire, the whole world at the time, or Jerusalem, their world at the time. I don't know what truth to glean from that. That's up to God. But I do know we all get crowns. I do know we all become pillars in God's house. I do know we all worship Christ with our crowns. I do know we're all in the New Jerusalem. That is applicable to me. So I could say that's near and far, to use that terminology, I don't think everything in there has to be near and far.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's what I'm trying to get to is we're dissecting what parts are near, what parts are far, what parts are both. But that's where I think the problem comes in. It's like, okay, you're reading it that way. Someone else is saying, well, Because if they look at it like how I used to look at it, like, oh, the hour of trial is coming. Okay, yeah, that's the great tribulation, right? And he's going to keep us from that. So there's a rapture, and cool, I'm coming. And then the rest of the verses make all this great sense for future verbiage, right? It's
You know,
beautiful. It's wonderful.
you know who would never come to the conclusion that there's going to be a pre-trib rapture?
Oh,
Any of the recipients of the letter of Revelation, because there's no reference to any kind of disappearance event in Revelation. Zero. You know?
yeah.
So if our goal is to understand what the original audience would have understood, how are they coming to a pre-trib rapture conclusion based on what John said to Philadelphia? I don't know. It's kind of a stretch. Or they could just be in Judea while the tribulation is happening in Jerusalem, you know? There's just ways to, people just need to be honest. Like, don't suppose this discussion has been happening for, I want to say 2,000 years, but
2,000 years.
it actually hasn't been happening for 2,000 years, bro. It hasn't.
I think it has. You don't think so?
Nope. Because the pre-trib rapture was there were people who thought about it, wrote about it, talked about it, but they were not prominent. It was not a like widely held position by any means. It was very fringe, you know, and it kind of fizzled out. And then it became popular again with Darby in 1830 when he synthesized dispensationalism. What Darby did, this is another thing you have to understand, with dispensationalism, the system of dispensationalism was historically created by Darby, okay? The tenets of dispensationalism, like Israel actually chosen people of God, a pre-trib rapture, a literal millennial reign, a 7-year tribulation. I don't know what, I can't think of them. We got to make a list. The tenets all independently existed throughout church history. Mm-hmm. There was not a single person that ever wrote about and talked about all of those things together as an interpretive system until Darby. And that's what I mean by Darby invented dispensationalism. He took the individual historic fringe concepts, most of them were fringe, and put them together in a new way, which resulted in dispensationalism. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that clarifies that, because I have gotten a lot of pushback from people saying, "Nuh-uh." There were people that believed. Church fathers there was people that believed in literal 1,000-year reign. There's people that believed and wrote about a pre-tribulation rapture. There's people that believed and wrote about Israel being a nation again and still being God's chosen. Yes, but not a single person wrote about all of those things and how they all relate and how they come together in this way of interpreting these passages this way. Nobody ever did that except for Darby in 1830. You know what I'm saying? And
if that's wrong, if someone's out there and they're like, "Oh, that's not right," then find it. Please send it to us. Like, send us something, because I've looked into this myself also, and I couldn't find anything. Like, I've come to the same conclusion that Ben is at, where the system was created with Darby, and there was another guy. I think it wasn't just Darby. I think it was someone else too.
Schofield, Study Bible.
Yes, but I thought it was someone even before.
There is somebody else. I can't remember his name. You know who Darby was heavily influenced by? I can't remember her name either, but a chick. You're out. Hey, a chick, I forget her name, who said she received like visions and prophecies, and Darby was heavily influenced by her. He wrote these things.
Are you being serious? Is this real?
I am. Wow. Well, we could dig it up. And next time, we'll do it next time because we're all coming up on 2 hours.
Okay.
Hey, he wrote at the same time as Joseph Smith. So Darby
Oh, dang, dude. They were
was in
doing the same
England.
kind of drugs.
Oh, wait, it gets better. Darby was in England. Okay. And he wrote at the same time around the 1830s. He wrote at the same time as Joseph Smith. Okay. Who obviously came up with Mormonism. Another system of interpretation, but then they also had extra books. You know what Darby said? Let me know if this sounds familiar to you. Darby said that the church is apostate. They've all gone astray. Nobody has the truth anymore. And that he needs to bring people back to like the true faith, the true religion. Do you know who also said almost like verbatim those exact same words?
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith. And that's how he came up with Mormonism. You know who else who else almost said those exact same words? Muhammad. And he came up with Islam. I'm not saying it's all the same. I'm just drawing a comparison between two people claiming the same things.
Are you pulling a candy? Are you pulling a Candace Owens?
Dude, I'm like, candy? It's just interesting, man. Hold on. That has been debunked.
Yeah.
Wait, what is
first she said, is it not comparable to how Calvin systemized Calvinism?
For sure. Yeah. Calvinism is a system, right? With pre-drawn conclusions through which you interpret the passages in the Bible that you read. For sure.
Yeah.
However, Calvinism is just, it's like, how can I put it? The main thing about Calvinism is TULIP, right? The acronym, total depravity. What's the U? I forget the U. What's the L? Limited atonement.
Man, you've changed. You
What's
used to know
the
this
I?
stuff. You were on this.
I forget the I. P. I don't know. Perseverance of the
look at
saints.
it.
That's all I got, bro. So that's what Calvinism is. They have like a
Total
synthesized
depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, perseverance of the saints.
Okay, so that's Calvinism in a nutshell, But that doesn't mean that the ideas, those individual tenets, like unconditional election, perseverance of the saint, that doesn't mean that those aren't things that were individually written about in church history in the same way that the individual tenets of dispensationalism were written about by individuals throughout church history. But Lynette says that has been debunked beyond debunked. What has been debunked? What I said about Darby?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Send us what you got. Like I don't know if you have a video that.
Yeah, again, because what Ben said was important. The tenets of dispensationalism have been discussed and ideas.
Hey.
What?
The crazy woman.
Oh, the crazy woman. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we should not assume anymore what she's thinking. We should ask first.
I haven't seen anything that the crazy woman bit has been debunked. If it has, so be it. But the other stuff hasn't been debunked, that he claimed the church was apostate, same as Joseph Smith, that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. The point here was when and who created the system of dispensationalism. And in regards to Calvinism, I don't consider myself Calvinist. Like, I believe in some of those tenets because I can find them in scripture, like everywhere. I don't need an interpretive system like Calvinism for me to read a passage about like being chosen before the foundations of the earth, right? I don't need to go to Calvinism to know what that means. It literally just means that before the foundations of the earth, God chose who is and isn't saved.
Yeah.
What you got, bro?
Chat is saying that there's no historical evidence, but then it does say where the claim comes from. Margaret MacDonald, 1830s, Scotland. No evidence Darby met her. Revision does not clearly teach Darby's rapture. Darby was already developing his framework. Claim arose later in polemics. The argument that Darby copied a woman's vision became popular in the 20th century, especially among critics of dispensationalism. It is debated and not accepted as established fact in mainstream historical scholarship. All right.
Yeah, but this is saying something I didn't say.
Oh wait, this was there was a wave of charismatic prophetic activity in Britain around 1830, including the movement connected to Edward Irving visions.
Yep.
Intense
That was the guy, Edward
Darby
Irving.
was operating in the same cultural and theological environment.
Yep. I said he was
Oh.
influenced by. I didn't say he took rapture from her. I didn't say that.
Interesting.
Yep.
So he was around these kinds of people. I don't know who that Edward Living guy is, but
Edward Irving, another
or
guy
Irving.
that he was working with. That's the guy we couldn't think about.
That's the guy we couldn't think about. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you know what else was happening at the same time in Britain? You know how it said that there was like a wave of prophetic events and stuff like that happening, right? The exact opposite. There was a massive wave of occultism and an interest in the occult in the early 1900s or 19th century, so mid 1800s and stuff like that. And interestingly enough, that's when these people were also having their charismatic experiences.
Yeah.
Anywho, dang,
interesting
bro.
stuff. We talked about a lot of different things tonight. That was cool. Definitely a good hang sesh tonight.
Hey, just so you know, I don't think we got an answer from anybody in the comments that's dispensational as to what they think the synagogue of Satan is.
Yeah.
So if you guys are still here and can answer that in like the next 2 minutes, that'd be cool. If not, we'll have to get it on the next one.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Remember, if you're still here, please like this video. Let it get up there, please. Thank you for chiming in. Thanks for hanging with us. It's good to see everyone, or at least you see your handles. And we'll be back next week, like we always do, and with a fresh topic. Or we'll just keep talking about this other stuff.
Can I read the tweets next week?
Let's do it. I like it. Let's do it on Tuesday. That'd be cool.
Yeah, bro. People are crazy.
Yeah. Oh, Lynette. Here we go. Synagogue of Satan. A Pharisee, someone that is part of an assembly that promotes lies because their father is the devil. So someone that is part of an assembly that promotes lies because their father is the devil. So anyone who is part of a group that lies.
Okay. But is it only Pharisees, like of the day of Christ? Or is it anybody of any religious assembly or atheistic assembly? Okay, because
yeah, I mean, do Pharisees exist today? Is that what you're saying? Because I mean, that's what could be the case, right?
Is it anybody that's not? Is it anybody that's not in Christ?
Yeah,
that's it. And in my opinion, yes. Anybody that's not in Christ, whatever their religious.
Yeah. If any, I know we clicked at the same time.
Yeah.
Unless, because if we don't look at it that way, then we're giving it another category. We're giving them a separate category, like a special pot of sinners.
Sure.
And it's not like that. We don't see that anywhere in Scripture.
Bro.
So, yeah, this was fun. We talked about the Synagogue of Satan. Our tech stayed active the whole time, which was good. Last time it didn't, but you guys keep thinking about it, keep talking about it, keep praying about it, keep chiming in with us. Ben loves when you guys can argue in the comment sections.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, but he likes it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I know these are difficult things to talk about. There's people that don't want to talk about them, people that like to talk about them, probably for wrong reasons. And so we don't want to come across, as hating people. We just want to come across as trying to bring the truth of God's word to everyone who's listening. And I just know for myself, I thought I knew a lot. I thought I knew what was happening in the Bible. And I realized 3 years ago that I really didn't know much.
Bro, for sure.
So,
For
and then
sure.
seeing everything that's happening in the world today. So it's like, I have to dive deeper and I have to look at this stuff. I have to ask the hard questions. And I have to get outside of, I mean, that's one thing I appreciate about Lynette a lot. You know, she'll look at other sides, right? And that's all, I guess, what I can ask you guys, like our friends here, people who are listening, is look outside for a little bit. Just see if you listen, if it's either going to make your point even stronger or
Exactly.
it's going to correct your views.
Exactly.
So it's going to be beneficial for you. You know, don't worry, you're not going to lose your salvation. I know somebody in my life who's like, I don't talk about these things because I'm afraid that it's going to like derail me from God. And I'm like,
Oh my
well,
God.
dude, then what kind of salvation? Who's keeping your salvation? Right? It's
Oh,
not you
bro.
anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I had a buddy that as we started having certain conversations on here, he was listening and he was like, he would message me privately and be like, hey man, I don't think you should go down. I don't think you should be asking these
yeah.
questions. I don't think you should be going down this path because it leads to people walking away from their faith. And I'm like, what? Bro, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you're telling me if I'm trying to understand what the Bible is actually saying, it's going to make me leave the faith? You might believe lies. If 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 you have a certain belief that you think is based on the Bible, but then when you study the Bible to see what it says, the result is you losing your faith, then what you believe is of the synagogue of Satan.
Oof.
Right?
Oof. Because it's a lie.
It's a lie. If your belief doesn't hold up to what scripture says, then you believe a lie.
Yep.
And you were probably taught that by a freaking Pharisee, a modern day Pharisee, you know?
Yep.
Man, there's oh man, I've had some. Can we just do an episode where we read our Twitter?
Maybe we'll do that for the
I've had some really interesting conversation on it. I'm learning trying to refute people on Twitter.
All right.
It's been sick.
We'll do it. It's time to go. Everybody, thank you very much.
We did it.
We did it. We did it. Good job.
Every time we finish an episode, it's like a huge accomplishment for me. Dennis, you know what tomorrow is? Friday.
Friday.
Do you know what I get tomorrow?
No, I have no idea. So
curious. You have no idea. I know you're so curious.
My kiddo's coming into town tomorrow. I'm stoked, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
We get to hang out with her for Valentine's Day weekend.
Aw.
Yeah,
we're going to the hot springs with some friends tomorrow.
Nice. Oh,
Hey,
that sounds great.
Dog.
What, dude?
Tomorrow I take delivery of my new baby.
You bought that thing?
Hell yeah.
What the heck? I never would have guessed. We should have had like a poll or something. Like, guys, throw in your guess here.
I got 40 chickens, baby.
Dude, you're hilarious. I gotta see you getting that thing. I want to see videos of you. Do you even know how to like?
I've never used one. Well, I've used a small one before.
All right, please set up a tripod. Okay,
guys,
we gotta see this.
If I'm not here on Tuesday, pray for me. It means I fell off my cliff. A freaking 100-foot cliff around my whole property.
Oh yeah, you do have that.
My doggy died.
Do you know what Saturday is? No, I don't know.
Thanksgiving. Valentine's.
Yeah.
Valentine. Thanksgiving. Why did it come to mind?
You got so excited too. Thanksgiving.
I did.
All right, man. Hey, you be safe, Ben. You be safe, Ben, on that thing. Ben needs prayers, guys. He needs prayers.
Please, all I can take. All I can eat.
Listen, you need to take video or a picture of it. You got to put it for the family. You got to give it to us. We got to talk about this on Tuesday.
Well, I have a truck. I have a truck, and she's a beauty. Her name is Big Red. And then I have another truck, and he's a beauty, and he's called Old Blue.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna have this yellow. What should we call it? What should we name it, guys? What should we name my excavator? Something with yellow. Can't think of anything.
Yeah, okay.
Yellow.
Guys, help him out here because obviously he needs more creative names than Big Red and Old Blue. Yeah, he needs some help, guys.
What do you mean? They're good names.
Okay.
They're really good names.
Okay.
Have you seen my trucks?
I've seen the red one.
You've seen Big Red?
Yeah, I've seen
It's fitting.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Old Blue?
No, I haven't.
It's old and it's blue.
Okay. Yellow bucket. That's what Lynette said. Yellow bucket.
Yellow bucket. Maybe.
All right, we're done. Guys, have a good night.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Wish me luck. Pray for me not
Yeah.
to die.
See you guys next week.
Bye.